Hi people, you're welcome back to ToyinTube. My name is Toyin Akimolero. I'm glad to be here again today presenting to you another interesting topic. This one particularly for me is quite interesting, not because of the grim fact about it, but because it affects a lot of families out there, a lot of marriages, a lot of children, men, women. It cuts across board, it cuts across races, it cuts across countries, it cuts across cultures. It affects everyone, irrespective of who you are or where you're from. And yes, if you're wondering what the topic is, it is signs of a manipulative parent. I'm going to be giving my own views about it today, so hang in there with me, okay? Alright, so as we all know, marriages and divorces have become a part of life. People get married, they're all loved up, and the next minute they're separating or they're divorcing. It happens. It's become the order of the day. When divorce happens, some people are able to just live with it and move on. But also, on the flip side, some people have not been able to live with it. They're not able to come to terms with the fact that they have to share custody of their children with their ex-partners, and they go to extreme lengths to make the whole process very hard and tough for the other person, and it doesn't really matter to them if it affects them as well, so long as the other person feels the brunt of it. Okay, so some people have gone as far as killing their children and killing their partner. All right, those are like the really extreme cases. All right, and I'm not discussing that today. What I'm discussing today is about the people who haven't been able to come to terms with the new arrangements of living separately from their ex-partner and their children, and as a result they're not making life so hard, not just for their partners but for the children as well, and even including themselves unwittingly. These are manipulative parents. They exhibit so many manipulative behaviors in many ways to discredit their ex-partner, or to manipulate the feelings of their children, and also to make everybody else around them and their children to see them in a different light. So what are some of the signs of manipulative parents? They make up lies about the other parents to the children, to the police, to social services, to anyone that is involved in the whole process and the whole situation. Even to family and friends. They make up all sort of lies about the other parent just to discredit them. They distort information in order to get the child to have a skewed view of the other parent. So for instance, for many years a parent hasn't been able to attend their child's birthdays, or they weren't present at their child's graduation, or key events in the child's life as they're growing up. And it gets to a point where the child is asking the parent, why were you never present in my life? My dad said you never cared, or my mom said you never bothered to even show up. And then the parent then gets the chance to tell the child that actually that's not the truth, because I've always showed up. Every time I show up at your doorstep, your dad doesn't let me in, or your mom doesn't let me in, or whatever. So to this child, they're thinking, I never saw this other parent, but the parent always made effort, whether it's emails or whatever, and the other parent will just not let the child know about all of this. Instead, they tell the child, your dad never shows up, or your mom never showed up, or she just left you and went with another man, when in actual fact that wasn't the case. So they withhold information, they distort information, not just to the child but to everyone that may have a listening ear. The next one is they brainwash the children. So I've heard of situations where a parent will keep repeating the same negative things about the other parent to a child. They repeat it at every opportunity. They repeat these things to the child over time, over and over and over and over, to the extent where the child now believes those things about the other parents. It is brainwashing and it is wrong. Another manipulative trait is being petty. So a parent who finds it difficult to move on or to accept the separation situation or the child contract arrangement, or they're just bitter about the way everything has gone down. Maybe things didn't go their way and they're just bitter. So that bitterness also makes them to be very petty. So for instance, maybe the other parent brings the child back late for whatever reason by 5 minutes. So the next time the manipulative parent is dropping off the child, they also decide, I'm going to drop the child off late by 5 minutes. That is a very petty behavior, and we can go on and on about the sort of petty behavior that these parents can exhibit. Another one is manipulative parents find it very hard to compromise. If, for instance, maybe it's their turn to spend some time with the kids this week, for instance, or this weekend, and maybe the kids have a friend that's having a party, and the children want to be able to attend that party, even though that time coincides with the time that the manipulative parent is supposed to have them. So rather than just, you know, let the children be and just have fun during that time and decide, okay, I'll pick you up tomorrow, you have fun today, they decide, you know what, no, it's my turn today to have you guys. I'm gonna have you no matter what. You're coming with me no matter what. It's a very manipulative behavior that is, at the end of the day, it's not even affecting the other parents, but it's affecting the children, because you're making them miss out on spending time with their friends at a party, all because you just can't be bothered to compromise. And for you, you're hurting the other parent, but you're not really hurting the other parent, you're hurting the children. Manipulative parents find it very hard to be accountable. Rather than take accountability or even responsibility, they try to pin things on the other parent. Alright, they're never wrong, it's never their fault, it's always the fault of the other parent. When things go wrong, when things go alright, it's always not their fault, it's always the fault of the other parent. So for example, a child could ask the parent, why didn't you show up early to pick me up from my ballet classes? Rather than just admitting that it was their fault due to whatever it is, they try to lay blames on the other parent and come up with all sort of excuses that will make the other parent look like, oh, they held me up. If they hadn't held me up, I would have been here early, or just some really ridiculous excuses. Manipulative parents interfere with visitation. So for instance, if it's the turn of the other parent to have the kids for visitation, the manipulative parent will go through any lengths to come up with excuses and reasons for not making the kids available for today. And they send them messages or call them to say, you can't have the kids today because I'm not available, or I'm not around, or I'm busy, just to make sure that the children are not available for visitation. Or another example could be that the other parent is supposed to see these children for 5 hours, and the manipulative parent decides, you know what, he or she is only going to see them for 2 hours today, so they decide to drop the children off like 3 hours late. Another one is that manipulative parents share adult-only information with the children about the marriage, or about their divorce, or about their separation. It's needless. Irrespective of how old the children may be, you have no business discussing issues about the marriage, or about the divorce or separation. So telling them you're going to court, or showing them court papers, or showing them, oh, come and see the text that your mom sent to me, or come and see the messages that your dad sent to me. You have no business doing these things. You're trying to sow a seed of discord in the heart of the children. Let the children come to terms with however they feel about their parents, without interference from you or the other parents. Parents need to find ways to resolve things as adults. If you're fighting court battles over the children, over divorce or whatever, you have no business involving the children. Just leave them out of it. If you're a good parent, your children will find out themselves. If you're a bad parent, your children will find out themselves. Another trait of a manipulative parent is poor boundaries. So when the children are with the other parent, there are boundaries for the children. The other parent is maybe quite strict. Not that they don't let the children have fun or whatever, but there are boundaries. There's time to play, and there's time to do your homework, there's time to do the chores in the house, there's time for everything. But then, just to be able to get back at them, when the children come to your place, you're the type of parent that doesn't give them boundaries. You let them do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, there are no boundaries. So it creates confusion with the kids. So when they go to one parent's house, this is well structured. When they come to your house, there's no structure, there's no boundaries. And you're doing that intentionally just to make the other parent look like they're the ones living in the, I don't know, the tough regime. And when the kids are with you, you're the laid-back parent. That is very manipulative, and it shouldn't be done at all. Whatever boundaries are being put in place in one household should be the same boundaries that should be in place in your household. Both of you parents should be in sync, irrespective of your individual differences. You need to do what's best for the children. Also, manipulative parents don't like it when the kids are having so much fun with the other parent. So they want the children to always come back to say, oh, I hate going to dad's place, or I hate going to mom's place, I never have fun there. That's what they want. But when the children come back and they look like they've had fun, they've come back with presents, they've come back with gifts, they went out, they went to nice places, they enjoyed themselves thoroughly. Manipulative parents don't like that. So when the children come back with all those stories, they try to take away from it. They try to diminish it. And they try to make the children feel like they didn't really have fun. You know what, you could have had better fun if you were with me. We also have manipulative parents stalking the other parent. Whether you're stalking them with cameras, you're stalking them about on the streets or whatever, manipulative parents can go to so many lengths. They can come up with all sort of ideas of manipulating the situation between them and their other partner and the children. It's just messy. Now, manipulative parents don't like to be played at their own game. So if the other parent tries to do to them what they've been doing, they don't like it. Manipulative parents are very deceptive. They try to show a side of themselves that they want people to see. To the extent that you, as the parent on the receiving side, when you try to tell people that this is what I'm going through, they're like, maybe you're lying. They don't believe you because they always see this other parent as the ideal one, as the meek one. He's a nice person or she's a nice person. She can't be this way. She can't be these things that you're trying to paint her to be or that you're trying to paint him to be. So over time, they've tried to hide that side of them that is very nasty to other people or to family, to friends, to neutral people. When they meet up with their lawyers, they cook up all sort of lies in order to get their lawyers to be able to defend their position in court. Now, this is my advice. If you're that parent that is saddled with a manipulative parent, I would advise you to make sure that you're taking notes of everything that is happening. If there is a visitation, if there is child contact, whatever events happen, you need to document things. You need to have a personal diary to record events, to record things that happen, to record, I don't know, there could be disagreements or fights or whatever it is. There will be child contact situations where things don't go down the way they were supposed to go down, and you need to record these things because they might end up twisting things that happen. So, to protect yourself, make sure you have a diary. Things that happen, text messages, make sure you're saving them. Emails, make sure you're saving them. If you know that the other person is the type that likes to twist things and that likes to make up lies about actual events and twist details of actual events, it might help if you just record events when they happen, turn on your recording on your phone, just to be able to defend yourself later on if you ever find yourself going to court for whatever reason or having to explain yourself to social services about whatever events. So it's always helpful to record yourself. Now, I'm not saying that every time you must record. That's not needed. I'm just saying if you're the type that is saddled with such a manipulative parent that always tends to make up lies about actual events, that may put you in trouble. So it helps if you just record things when they happen, record events when they happen, just to save yourself. When situations happen, try and keep your cool, whether you're communicating via text or email or you're communicating face to face, try and keep your cool. The other parent would always want to look for ways to make you lose your cool, to make you say something and catch you in the act. Also, let your children come to terms with their feelings for the other parents. Let them have natural feelings for the other parents. Do not interfere. If the other parent is doing something to hurt the relationship with the child, it's on them. Alright? It's on them. Try and foster a healthy environment for the children. You need to just do what you can do within your power to make sure that on both sides there is a healthy relationship with the children. And lastly, teach your kids about healthy behavior, alright? If your child is coming to you and speaking smack about the other parent, you need to nip it in the bud, alright? As much as they may not like the other parent for whatever reason, or they may not like to spend time with the other parent and they come to you speaking smack about them, it's never acceptable for children to be disrespectful, whether to you or to the other parent. They need to know their place. If there are any issues or concerns that the children have raised, just tell them you've heard and you will deal with it. Then you can speak to the other parent about whatever concerns the children have. But try as much as possible to not influence the children with your own views. So parents, let's know this, alright? There will be marriages and there will be divorces. There's nothing we can do about that. The ideal situation is that marriages last forever. But that will not always be the case. Marriages sometimes come to an end. But we mustn't say because the marriage has come to an end, we then take the opportunity to destroy the lives of our children. It's not fair on the children. We have a lot of broken adults today. We have a lot of broken marriages have been because of how these children have been handled by their parents as they were growing up. A lot of marriages today have not survived because the people involved in the marriage have been involved or have been exposed to bad behaviors by their parents that separated or divorced. And that has over time then formed the character of these children who have then gone on to be adults, and they too think it's okay to behave badly in marriages, and then before you know it, the marriage comes to an end, and then their children also go on to have troubled marriages. It just becomes like a vicious cycle. Alright, so I hope we all learned something today. Let me know of your comments, let me know of your views about this topic in the comment section, alright? I'll try and respond to everyone that comments. Alright guys, see you later.